Cancer, it's Kendrick from Providence Tarot doing your proofread for the beginning of February. Let's call it your first proofread. Let's go with that. How's it going, Cancer? What's been going on in your world, in your life? Feeling opinionated, saying stuff, talking. Now you're feeling like you want to move forward with something. A person, perhaps. Could be a Gemini or a Leo. You know, so you're dealing with two types of people. You're dealing with someone that's busy, distracted, someone that might talk a lot, you know, someone that you can't keep kind of like settled, and you might be dealing with someone who is kind of settled, and they might be in their energy, but they're just kind of like, they are who they are, and they're not really necessarily going to change. One person is not going to change, and one person is like, they're like kind of like always changing. Okay, the Fool is here, so it could be like an Aquarius, or it could be a Gemini, it could be a Libra, it could be any of those air signs. Oh my goodness, Cancer, what's going on? The Fool is also talking about radical change, and it's talking about leaving something behind for you. You know, achieving balance by not taking responsibility for something that isn't yours, or something that you don't have to identify with. You know what I mean? It's like, it could even be a relationship too. It's like, no, I'm done with that. Or it could be like, you know, friendships. Or it could be something that you kind of like, you're no longer attached to the idea of something. You know what I mean? You're no longer attached to the idea of something. It doesn't bring you the same security that it once did before. It doesn't have that power over you anymore. You know, you don't find security with the same thing. So that's good. That's indicating growth. Right? It's indicating spiritual growth to me. I'm going to do this one more time. Hopefully it's a nice, good, clean shuffle. Yeah, spiritual growth, because the Hierophant just popped out. One more time I'm going to shuffle, please. That's good. Interesting. Okay, Cancer. You got the Pharaoh, which is actually the Temperance card. And the Temperance card, which is a Pharaoh in this, is about getting the adequate, you know, not substances, but it's like elements. Getting the adequate elements together, considering the elements that are involved. How am I meant to... You could be rationing something. You could be rationing your money, or you could be rationing your art supplies. You could be rationing the elements that you are working with. You know, you are conserving energy in some kind of way, or you could just be putting a higher level of consideration into whatever it is that you are doing, that you have been doing consistently for some time now, and you're looking at ways that you can kind of like adapt to some kind of change here, because this is number 14. So it is talking about in energy of like initiation and newness, you know, spiritual initiation. And then it also is talking about how you might be reinventing yourself in some kind of way. It is related to a transformation in some kind of way. And it's also related to kind of like still remembering who you are, even though you are changing. And you are kind of like changing your chemical makeup, you know, your characterizational chemical makeup is changing. You know, it's like your identity is changing because your spirituality is changing, and what you have connected to on a higher level has changed you in some kind of way, shape, or form. Does that make sense? And then we have the Hanged Man here, so it's definitely highly spiritual, because we got Sagittarius energy and we have Pisces energy here, and that's Jupiter and that's Neptune. So we're dissolving boundaries, we're dissolving these elements as well. We're dissolving old elements that we maybe had a habit of using, you know, so now we're not using the same elements in the same way anymore. We're using them to our benefit, you know, and we are also kind of how are we escaping? Ask ourselves that. Or how are we using the time that we have to escape? Are we making time to escape? And are we escaping to distract ourselves from the things that we need to spend time doing or spend time on? The Hangman is also talking about how you might be feeling vulnerable, taken advantage of. You might be feeling unmotivated due to a sense of insecurity that you might have, even though you have a lot of things at your disposal. You just might be feeling kind of lazy, or you just might be feeling kind of uninspired here, because this is Neptune, but it's also a 3. So it's kind of like related to Mercury. And even though it is like Pisces energy, so Mercury and Pisces would actually be debilitated. So there is something that you feel like is almost impossible right now in this moment, and it really has to do with how you are feeling, and it's your nature, it's your emotional nature, and it's your psychological nature, and it also could have to do with a little bit of depression. So your depression might be getting in the way of you producing and you creating and you doing things that you normally would do. If some of you are not artists, but it's like your depression is getting you in the way of having fun, like, playing with your kids or making fun meals or doing some of the stuff that is actually fun that you usually would do. Adventure, you've lost your sense of adventure in some kind of way. So this is inspiring you to gain that sense of adventure again. And the Pharaoh, the Temperance card, is asking you to mix the elements up, change something about the environment too, with the Hangman here, where you're doing it, what it is that you're bringing, how it is you're bringing it, and you mix the elements together. Maybe do something else that you're talented or skilled at, other than doing that thing that you are used to doing, because the Pharaoh is also talking about that, because it's 14 and that reduces to a 5, and the 5 is talking about the Hierophant energy. You have the ability to change, and you have the ability to shine light in different ways. That's why that rainbow is back there, because it's light being shown in different ways. That's what color is. Color is light. So it's not like we're only meant to see ourselves in one light. We're meant to see ourselves in several different lights. You know what I mean? Hopefully you're not just good at one thing. And hopefully you know what you're good at. Right? And hopefully you value that thing so that you actually are doing it, and you are honoring who you are. And you are honoring the gifts that have been bestowed upon you. Right? Okay, Cancer. The Lovers. Wow, look at you. You really have given it to us today with the Temperance card, the Hangman, and the Lovers. This is all mutable. So it's talking about changing. It's talking about shifts. It's talking about compromising, these are cards of compromise, of compensatory types of nature. Where is the interest here, right? So it's like to stay interested, keep things interesting. That's what we need. Okay, definitely keep things interested, because that's you. 6 of Wands. It's not mutable, but it definitely can be seen that way, because it is a 6 related to this Lovers card here that rules it, So we're taking risk, and we're doing things that might make us feel a little bit uncomfortable, but we know that there is, something on the other side. And the Death card is here, which is definitely your energy, Cancer, right? And another 6, the 6 of Swords. Wow, amazing. Okay, so we have the Death card. The Death card is talking about a transformation. It's talking about letting go of something, right, that you may have been accustomed to, right? Sudden endings. Okay, and these are also actually endings that we knew would happen, right? Because it's 13, so you are aware of creation, so you are also definitely aware of destruction. With the Death card being here, it's just whether you're willing to admit something to yourself. And that's what the Death card is talking about. Stop fighting something. Stop not wanting to admit something to yourself that could actually bring you into a sense of, power, right? So you are not honoring the power of your creativity with the Death card being here, because the Death card is kind of like running out of time too, right? So your abilities, you're not going to have them forever. That's what the Death card talks about. right? Being aware of death actually makes you realize what it is that you could be doing right now in this moment. You know what I mean? It's a 4. It's 1 and it's 3. It's in this moment. The 6 of Wands, you know, yeah, expansions of the heart, right? We're growing who we are. You know, your heart actually pumps the oxygen throughout your body, the blood that sends the oxygen throughout your body so that your organs can perform and function, you know, and it's kind of like that stuff just happens. You don't have to tell your body to do it. So you don't have to tell yourself to kind of like, you know, want something more. That is actually an innate, you know, growth is innate. Growth is something that everyone wants, you know what I mean? So don't be afraid to let go of something, especially if it means growth, right? Because you letting go of that thing proves something. Or you accepting the end of something proves something, you know? The 6 of Wands kind of like puts you into new territory with yourself, okay? Your sense of self-respect has grown because of this. The 6 of Swords is saying like, wow, now I am wise. This is Mercury in Aquarius, which is where we are now, and that's where the retrograde is happening, right? The connection that you have to Aquarius would be Jupiter. I mean, it's Saturn because it's like there's the opposition between the moon and Saturn, right? But then also Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, which is your sign, our sign. And then Jupiter is the esoteric ruler of Aquarius. So we have that Jupiter connection here with you in Aquarius, right? And Mercury in a sense. Yeah, blah, blah. So we're growing, you know? We're leaving things behind. We're expanding on an idea. We're expanding on our passions, right? So career-wise too. It's like, okay, don't fear the end of your career. Actually see how you can parlay whatever you've been doing into what it is that your interests are now. I'm trying to get the ring on my light. You know what I mean? And the 6 of Swords, it's like the beauty of inspiration and where that inspiration can take you, right? This is daily inspiration with the 6s, all of them. The 6 of Wands, the 6 of Swords. So continue to write, continue to explore, continue to inform yourself, continue to listen to those podcasts that are very intellectual, continue to listen to the things and to look at the things that kind of like, you know, re-inspire you to kind of seek out new opportunities, you know, or just like, you know, seek out new opportunities. Shit. 6 of Swords. It's outgrowing old ideas. Old ideas, new ideas, innovative thoughts, scientific, genius, ingenious, you know. If they don't understand, then these people will. They'll get me. Cancer. You definitely have learned a lot, and you're moving forward, and you're taking what you have learned and what you have known, and you are mixing those things together to formulate a new experience for yourself, and you have a new narrative on your horizon, okay? Your life is about to be changed with all kinds of things going on. I love it. Like, share, subscribe, comment on the video. Follow me on Instagram, it's Providence Tarot. My personal account is NYC Kendrick. If you would like to get a personal reading, email providencetarotkendrick@gmail.com.